This jack is failing or you're failing. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Sorry about that. Couldn't help it. Came outside and it was just quite a day. The sun's out. Oh, don't look at the sun. Don't look directly at the sun. We all know that. Most of the snow is melting. It's going to be a little muddy. That's going to be a problem. It's always something. I trimmed the tree just before the most recent round of storms, so I got to deal with that since they got all snowed over. And eventually we'll be hopefully driving a dart out the door. That's what's going on with this video. Jumping back out into T's Good Times Garage. I'm T, your host. This is my dart. If you've watched any of my stuff by now, you know this is my drag car. And that we've had an ordeal of sorts. Not the worst thing in the world. The transmission developed some issues. My high gear clutch pack said I am done. So we've got this thing all freshened up. This was my first complete build, start to finish. I put this all together all by myself. I did that. So we're hoping and praying that this bad mamma jamma is gonna do great things for us. We're doing dart things. We gotta clean up a little bit. We gotta get that transmission in here. We gotta do some maintenance on the dart. An oil change, we're throwing plugs at it. Get the transmission, the converter in, the drive shaft back in. Clean the underside with brake clean since I blew out the cooler lines for the transmission. Let's just say it wasn't a clean job. so we've got that to deal with. Oh, and don't forget to put in your seatbelt, T. I've got to update my belt. Because one of the biggest travesties in racing is that these things are only good for 2 years. Yes, I used compressed air to blow the cooler lines out. I did have something covering, but it still didn't completely keep my mess to a minimum. So we're going to get crazy with the brake clean. Since brake clean is an amazing, amazing cleaner. But man, it's sure potent. This oil pan has definitely seen better days. It's a deep Moroso 7-quart deal. It was in my Charger at one point, driving through one of those little curb and gutter dips. It hit it. I mean, I didn't think that car sat that low, but yeah, it dragged the front of the pan and folded it up, caused a tear. And I did beat the crap out of it and straighten it up somewhat and weld it. And so it doesn't look pretty, but it did the job. But I think it's time to replace it. Maybe we'll find a good deal at Matt's on a pan. These used to be a lot lighter, and then they hook in your jacket and make that more difficult with the dismount. There we go. Got the transmission in the neighborhood. I'm going to get the converter stabbed in it. I will put the trans shield on, and then we'll slide it under and get ready to park it on the floor jack. You little beauty. This is my ATI 8-inch converter, set to stall about 5200 RPM, and it just got back from its refresh. They did end up putting a new pump hub on it here. Said otherwise it looked really good inside for having been beat up on for 4 years. I'm going to add a little bit of transmission fluid to it. I'm not going to go crazy because of the way I like to stab them, but I'll put some in there, let it work its way around. We're just going to circulate a little bit of that. And then I'll show you how I like to stab these. So I like to stand my transmission up on end. So I have it here resting against my dart. A couple of 2x4s laying on the ground to prop it up above the tail shaft. I'm going to try and line up the pump ears with the converter. But this is why I don't put a ton of fluid in. So I'm going to turn this thing completely upside down and lay it down. So it's nice to be quick, but not always an option. Once you get it past the seal, you're good. What it's like driving a Dodge. Something like that. It took me years to figure it out, but I never had one go in easy on this angle. So I've been standing them up for a few years now and never looked back. This is a carbon fiber transmission shield. I've never experienced the reason we want this shield. I hope to never experience that. But that's why I run it, just in case. Get you a transmission shield. I'm gonna drain the oil. We're gonna let that drain for a minute. Brake clean is a must. Just need to make sure I have something under it. So we're gonna crank this Wix filter off. I like the Wix racing filters. And I'm gonna try not to make a mess, but I don't see how that's possible. Wish me luck. With the help of some worn corduroy pants, I'm gonna try and contain this mess. We'll put this on there. I did. Obviously, I have a Kung Fu grip, but we're gonna use a tool to loosen that. Oh, get in there, man. There we go. Not so bad. A little coming out of there. Probably would have been worse if this K-frame hadn't have been cut and notched for this rack. But that's the big block problem. You leave a little oil behind when you change your oil filter. Thanks, Wix. They gave me a new sticker with my oil filter purchase. So I'm going to borrow a little bit of the oil off of this gasket on this filter. And I'm just going to lightly coat the rubber gasket on the new filter. Helps ensure that it won't be stuck to the filter mounting point the next time you go to pull it off. I'm ready to throw the transmission in, but I'm opting to ask for a little help. So until that help's available, I'm going to get this thing ready to pull spark plugs. So I'm going to pull all the wires off and then just start slinging plugs out. Get the new ones thrown in. Well, having no inner fender wells for the win. And actually having these fender well exit headers, even in spite of not having fender wells. Changing spark plugs, a breeze. If I have to change the starter, it's not trapped by the headers. But that was my main point. I can get each and every spark plug with ease, without issue, from the top. Thank you, no fender wells. Obviously, that's not something you can do for your everyday driver, but it definitely helps for this. So I've got all the spark plugs changed. I've got the old ones out. Maybe do a little analysis on a couple. I haven't added the oil yet, so I got to add oil to it. At that point, I think where I'm at is either the seat belt or hopefully have some help to get that trans stuffed in there. Really need to get that going. Look who showed up to help. He wants the transmission in this car too, so he's gonna help me. But first, Mrs. T brought out a sandwich, so I'm gonna eat a sandwich, and then we're gonna start doing some transmission installation. And the important thing is we just gotta figure out how not to knock the converter back out of its groovature.
Okay.
Don't keep pushing that yet. Well, you pushed it right after I moved the transmission.
Guess what?
It's like you're that guy. You're that guy in traffic that when somebody pulls forward,
I pull forward?
you pull forward further, so you're still right on his tail.
Yeah. They give me more room. So the people behind me can pull forward, so now it's closer together, more room for them.
Yeah. Just make it so everything's compact and tight and ridiculous, even.
Like it tight.
Okay, this is gonna suck because I'm old and I hurt really
You want
bad.
me to lift?
We need a lever. What can we use for a lever to prop this sucker up more?
Or the spry young man can prop it up.
Okay, spry young man, come to the other side here. There's a 2x4 over there on that side somewhere too. Over by the duster. So let's lift this up just a shade and get it under the pan. Okay. Well, it's not actually so bad. Let's bring it in. Well, we gotta center that a little bit better. Okay, and then we're gonna try and heave this bro. I think in a previous video I complained about not having a lift. I'm still complaining about that because this sucks. This was fine when I was in my 20s. I'm not in my 20s anymore. I'm close. I'm really close to my 20s. Okay, let's get this crap out of here.
Get it in.
And now you hold the jack.
Okay.
I'm gonna try and bring Mr. Torque Flight. Okay, you're not holding the jack. Very good. Glad this is all being filmed so everybody can see how ridiculous we are.
That's how we do it around here. T's Good Time Garage.
T's Good Times Garage with the
Sometimes
ignoramus work, ignoramus mechanics.
we be dumb.
Doing dumb things. Yeah. Okay, well, that's fine. Okay. See how balanced that is now?
Yeah.
We are in the ballpark. See, the thing about not being my 20s is Riley's pretty young. He's not in his 20s yet. He's on the other side of it.
A year.
So he should be able to just crawl under this thing and pick it up like I used to do when I was his age.
Let's stop lifting some of
When I was his age. I honestly, I hate using that phrase. I really do. When I was your age, because I still want to be young. Okay, let's start lifting. I'm going to try and... You can go out and lift on the jack so you actually have a good leverage.
No. That's too easy.
Well, I don't want it to be like impossible. And we may end up having to open the garage door so you have room to pull.
Should I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
I just put a little light on the subject. Get back in here where you belong and start raising that jack. And you're gonna be there for a minute.
Okay.
We got another, I don't know, 8 inches, 6 inches of rise. Okay, well, let's see.
Too good.
No, keep going. Oh, hold on. We are hitting on some. Okay, keep going. No. Okay, we are so close.
Raise it up more?
Yeah, hold that. Is it recording?
Yeah.
Alright, hold on.
Right there.
That's some magic right there, buddy.
That's the titty.
Where are you, bottom bolts? Thought I had you organized.
Who knew? Organizing them. Huh.
Woo!
Maybe just keep them laying around isn't the best thing.
Actually, no, I know what's going on here. This is my bottom one. It's my ground strap.
Yeah.
Keep sassing me, boy.
I will.
Ground strappy. And this side looks like we are in the dowel. Nice if I had a socket.
Do you not have that size?
Well, I have one. but I don't have one in my hand. Is kind of the problem.
Why you should have your tools that you need with you.
I should.
You should.
What a moron.
What a dingus.
Don't say dingus on my channel.
Dingus.
Get a nice view of your hair.
My bad.
Yeah. You didn't even comb it today.
No, I'm working on cars. Why would I have it nice?
Go ahead and run that other one in. Just snug. Don't crank it.
Gotcha.
This is where I'm going to have to channel my old self. A little bit. But that's... If you didn't notice, this is a homemade transmission mount. No, I didn't do it. I bought the car like this, okay?
Yeah, the welds would have been worse.
They wouldn't. This guy takes 2 years of high school welding and thinks he's a professional. Take that jack down just a nip. I want the jack over here for half a second.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead and lift it up a little.
Okay.
I'm just gonna influence the mount. This jack is failing, or you're failing?
It just needs the blue pill, okay?
It does. Okay.
See? It's at its height.
That says it's maxed. Can you hand me a piece of wood? The one I just had probably would have worked, but give me a 2x4.
Stronger, better.
Stronger, better, faster, harder. Okay, good enough. I'm sorry I doubted you.
Don't doubt me. I know what I'm doing.
Okay, hold on. All right, let's see. I've got all my bolts ran up in there.
Wow.
So I'm going to tighten them down. So the bell housing bolts are in. They're tight. We've got the shifter linkage hooked up. The cooler lines are hooked up. Yowza. So I think what's next, we're going to tighten the converter bolts. We're going to actually install them and then tighten them. Then I'll throw the starter in. And then I think I can get out from under this thing. I had been just attaching my wires and such directly to these posts because the factory unit that came with these was always in the wrong place. It never worked out, and it just always worked easier to do it like that, just directly to the posts. But I never liked that, and you've seen me use these before. This changes the angle of the dangle, lower on the starter so it's more in front of things, gets it away from the block. I've not had one of these in there yet, so I'm hoping that I won't be the first guy to have issue. And as you might be aware by looking at this, this is a later model starter. And I haven't done anything crazy like go buy an expensive, you know, aftermarket mini starter. So I usually just go into the parts store and order a starter for 92, 95, I don't even remember now, but early to mid 90s Dodge Dakota with a 360. And this is what I get. That's not the only thing, or not the only application, obviously. But they work in everything. They work in all the old school stuff. The RBs, the Bs, the LAs, the slants. You got to get a mini starter. Unless you're worried about complete originality, there's no reason not to. And if you have headers, even better. So we're going to eventually stab that in there and make sure that fits. Starter is going in. We're going to get this bottom bolt started.
anything if you need any more of my help right now.
All right, Riley wants to be done. He wants to go get his girlfriend.
Here.
I get it.
I'm out.
All right, thanks for your help.
Yep, let me know if you need anything else.
Hey, Riley, I need something. See you later. I'll finish tightening it. The little bracket looks like it's going to clear nicely. We'll get the wires on it, you know, just to be sure that nothing's going to interfere any weird way. Well, the underside, as far as I can tell, is done. But everything is progressing, let's say that. So right now, we're adding fluids. We're getting ready to run this sucker on the stands. I guess it's about that time. Pretty happy about the movement. That's a good thing. So we're gonna call that for the day. I've been out here all day, so it's time to take a break. We've made a lot of progress. We have a car that runs and looks like it's gonna drive, so we'll just fine tune and go from there. Keep wishing me luck, and we'll get back to it pretty darn quick. Thanks for watching.